today's video. So in today's video, I thought we would take a look at part 1 of my Nintendo 64 collection. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing that I have to show you tonight is of course the Nintendo 64 console. And as always, when I film a console unboxing, it doesn't fit in the camera shot. So on the top of the box, we do have the N64 logo, and on the front we have a picture of the console and the controller as well. Now down this side it tells you a little bit about what the console can do, and if I just push this up you can see the bottom of the box as well. Now if I just flip this to the side, on this side of the box we have 4 different characters. So the first one I think is from Killer Instinct. I think they're called Volgor, but I could be wrong. We then have Bowser, Super Mario, and a Stormtrooper, and then at the very end the N64 console. Now if I just flip this box over to the back, so this is the back of the N64 box. Now on the back we just have some of the games that you can pick up for the console. So we have like Star Fox 64, GoldenEye 007, Mario Kart 64, Wave Race, we have Turok, and if I just push this up, we do have a couple of games at the bottom like Super Mario 64 and NFL Quarterback Club 98. Now down this side it shows you how to connect it to your TV. Now here's the pull tab to open the box. I was going to pull the insides out on camera, but honestly it's in a polystyrene box and it is so loud, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it all out off of camera and show you each individual item. Okay, so first up, as always in the box, we have the paperwork. So let's go ahead and take a little look at that. So first up we have the consumer information booklet. We then have a $5 off code for the Nintendo store. Now this is a $5 off code because I did actually pick up the American console and not the European one. We then have an offer for a free magazine with Nintendo, which is of course expired because this console is really old. We then have how to set your N64 up, and then we also have this poster, I think. Let's just open this up. So there's the inside of the poster. It shows you some of the things that you can buy from the Nintendo store. There's some pretty cool stuff. We have like a Yoshi t-shirt, we have some plush teddies, we have a carry case for your games. There's also like an N64 watch there and a hat, and then a bag for your console. I bet you some of this stuff is worth an absolute fortune now. And if I just flip this over to the back, there's the back of that poster where you can sign up. So that is all of the paperwork. Next up of course are the cables. So this is the AV cables with the red, white and yellow connectors. Now this end bit was optional. You only needed this if you had an older TV, which obviously when the N64 came out, most people did have old TVs because the console is old. But most TVs you can just plug these straight into the back without this. So that's the AV cables. And then of course we have the power brick, which is slightly different to your standard power brick because this actually plugs into the back of your N64 console. And like I did mention, I do have the American one, so this is a 2-pin plug, and because I picked up the American one I did have to buy a surge protector for the plug because apparently the voltage power is different in the UK than it is in America. So that is just the power adapter. Also inside of my N64 box I do have this memory card. I don't believe this is part of the console box, I just think I've put it in there. It doesn't actually say what size this is. But but that's what it looks like. So that's the memory card. Then of course we do have the N64 console. So at the top we have the slot for the cartridges, the power on and off button, the reset button, and the memory expansion slot. If I just take that off, there is one inside, as you can see. Let's put that back on. Then on the side we have the 4 controller ports, and then on the back we have where you put the power adapter and the AV cables, of course. And then on the bottom there is this expansion slot. I think it's for a disk drive, but I'm not sure. So that is the N64 console. And the last thing inside of the box is of course the N64 controller. And this is just the standard grey controller. They did a variety of different colours like red, green, blue, black. They also did clear shell ones. Honestly, there were so many colours that you could pick up, but this was just the standard one that you got with most consoles. So on the front we have the D-pad, the yellow directional buttons, the A and B button, the start button, and of course the analog stick plonked right in the middle of the controller. Then on the back we have the Z button there, and then the L and R buttons at the top. And unlike most consoles where the memory card slot is on the front of the console, this is actually on the controller and it plugs in like that. So a little bit different. So that is of course the controller. And last up tonight, I thought we would take a look at some N64 games. So the first game I have to show you tonight is Banjo-Tooie. And on the bottom it says the bear and the bird are back, because of course before this game was released there was Banjo-Kazooie. So there's the front cover. If I just flip this over to the back, it says Gruntley returns, and that is bad news for Banjo-Kazooie in this all new adventure. And then down this side we do have some screenshots from the game. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything out of this box and we'll take a look at what's inside. So first up in the box, we of course have the cartridge. So there's the front, and then there's the back. So that is the cartridge. We then of course have some paperwork. So free player's guide when you sign up to Nintendo Power. And the consumer information booklet as well. And then the last thing in the box, which is of course the instruction booklet, which we will go ahead and take a look at. So first up we have the contents page, and then using the controller. 2 years have passed, so I'm guessing from the first game, which was of course Banjo-Kazooie, we have starting an adventure. Who's Hooey in Tooie? So we have Banjo the bear, Kazooie the bird, Bottles, Jam Jars, and Mumbo Jumbo. We then have Humba Wumba, King Jingaling, Master Jiggy Wiggy, and Honey Bee. We have Minjella and Blobowder, and of course Gruntilda as well. And then we have the bear and bird controls. And then Jam Jar's advanced abilities. So some of the eggs on the island, and then some of the moves as well, and there's quite a lot of them. And then Pack Booty, so some of the items that you can pick up along the way, some useful features, and some special places to visit. This is getting harder and harder to hold. And then the Isle of Hags tour guide. So some different places that you visit, and then Jam Jar's training camp, and then the warranty and service information, and that is the end of the manual. So that was the first game, and that was Banjo-Tooie. And the next game that I wanted to show you tonight is GoldenEye 007, and this won Game of the Year in 97-98. I don't know much about James Bond, but this is one of the highest selling games on the N64. So there's the front cover, and then there's the back. So let's bring this a little bit closer. It says, "You are Bond, James Bond." I have never watched a James Bond film in my entire life. So let's go ahead and take a look inside of the box. So of course, first up, we have the cartridge with James Bond on the front. And the back's all the same on all of these cartridges. So there's the cartridge. And then we have the paperwork. So like Banjo-Tooie, if you signed up for Nintendo Power, you got the free player's guide, but this time for GoldenEye 007. And then the last thing in the box, of course, the instruction booklet. So first up we have the contents page, and then like the other one, using the N64 controller, and then the GoldenEye story, and then default controller information and the main menu screen, the mission game, and then controller configuration screen and mission objective screen, and then some of his weapons and some of his gadgets as well. And then game over, which nobody wants to see, friends, enemies and villains, and then playing multiplayer, and then shutting the manual, and then tips for success, and then the warranty and services, and that is the end of the manual. And that was the second game for the night, and that was GoldenEye 007. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more game, and then I'm going to end the video. And the last game that I wanted to show you tonight is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask Collector's Edition. Now on the front of this does say you need an expansion pack to play the game. I do have one somewhere, but I don't know where it is. So there's the front of the box, and then there's the back. It says Link's all-new epic adventures lands him in the mystical world of Tamina. Then we have some screenshots, and then like as before, I'm going to take everything out and show you what's inside. And I believe the reason it's called Collector's Edition is because it comes with this gold cartridge with like this 3D bit on the front, and there's the back. A really, really nice cartridge. I really like it. And the only other thing inside of the box was the manual. There is no other paperwork. So as always, we have the contents page, and then the N64 controller, and then the story, and we have Link and Skull Kid there, and about using the expansion pack. And then it says welcome to Tamina. We have Tatl, Epona, the Deku tribe, the Goron tribe and the Zora tribe. Then we have starting the game, and then saving and the passage of time, and then playing some songs on the ocarina. And then Tatl and Z targeting. Then reading the game screen. And then the basic control functions. Majora's Mask is one of my favourite Zelda games. Like I've mentioned before, my favourite is of course the Wind Waker, but I absolutely love Majora's Mask, especially on the 3DS. So some more controller functions. item subscreen. And then the select item subscreen again, but some items that you can get. And some more items. This is a really big game, hence why the manual is so big, I think, because there's a lot to do. And then we have the map subscreen, and then some hints. And then the warranty, of course, and then some notes, which I'm always thankful for when nobody's wrote on them. And that is, of course, the end of the manual. And that was the last game that I have to show you tonight. And that was The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. And that is the end of the video. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching. And until my next video, good night everybody. Good night.